Imagine losing thousands of dollars every single year. And this is money that could easily be put towards a couple vacations or a car, but it's just not there, all because of some poor money habit. Now, sadly, this is the reality for a majority of people, but thankfully, not you. Or at least if it is right now, by the end of this video, you'll have learned about the 5 most common money habits that are keeping you poor and away from financial freedom. But more importantly, I'll give you the pointers so you can turn these poor money habits into areas of opportunity in true wealth building. Trust me, once you drop these habits, you're gonna see some incredible growth in your finances and on your path towards financial independence. And just before we dive in, I'd love for you to comment down below if you think there are any money habits that you should or are planning to work on in 2025. Let's set some goals. I think it'd be great to put it out into a public space so that there's just one additional layer of external accountability. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Poor money habit number 1. This one is as American as it gets: impulse spending. You're probably not surprised to learn that at least 84% of Americans have admitted to at one point or another impulsively purchasing something. What you may be surprised to learn is that those impulsive purchases here and there on average add up to costing well over $3,000 a year. Marketers are good at doing one thing, and that is making you feel like you need something now. But the truth is, most of what you think you need are just wants. That Black Friday TV for 25% off. When you have a perfectly functional TV at home, that's a want. That chocolate bar at the checkout counter as you're waiting for your turn to buy groceries, that's a want. And listen, I'm not here to preach to you because I very much was a victim to this. One of my favorite websites, it's called Slick Deals. It's a crowdsourced website where people from all over the internet find the best deals across pretty much whatever you want to buy. And I used to browse this page on the daily because come on, who doesn't like a good deal? But the problem though, I rarely went to Slick Deals with a specific product or item I wanted to buy. I was just looking for a good deal. But all of the good deals always felt like they were about to be gone like that. Or you would see a good deal, but it expired a day ago. So anytime I came across a good deal, all of a sudden, kind of my heart rate goes up a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is great. We're saving 25% off, 30% off. Oh my God, this is the lowest ever. Maybe I should get it. Do I really need it? I don't know, but it's still a good deal. And that is the problem. But really I'm getting it because I'm saving money. But if I'm spending to save, am I really saving? No. All I was really doing was just impulsively spending my money. So here's what I would recommend to try to fix any sort of impulse spending habits you might have. The first tactic I've now used is to use the 48-hour rule. And this is especially important if you see a good deal in person. And the rule is quite simple. You see something, you like it, you think about it, wait 48 hours. If this is not something you imminently need, let's say your refrigerator broke and you need a new one, go buy a new fridge. However, if you just see a good deal on a refrigerator and your fridge at home is still working, wait 48 hours. If in 48 hours you are still just thinking about this fridge and this deal and the savings nonstop, sure, go back, purchase it. But chances are you're gonna go on with your life, move on to other things. Things are gonna happen in which you're probably just gonna forget about it. My second tip to avoid impulse spending: create a budget. I know it sounds so simple, but quite literally, just by writing down how much money you're spending per individual category every single month, it's gonna give you a clear goal to work against. A budget doesn't mean spend less. You can have a budget for how much discretionary spending you wanna make. So let's say you work into your budget that you can spend $200 a month on just whatever it is. Awesome. Then you see a deal, you don't really need it, it kind of is want, well, guess what? You have the budget allocated to do so. And in that way, you can still indulge if it's just, hey, you get a high off of getting a good deal, but you're not sabotaging your overall financial health. And if you're interested in a budget template, I do have one in the description box down below. Feel free to check it out. This is something that I've been using for years. It's pretty in-depth. It requires a little bit of walkthrough, but kind of once you get it going, it's really good, not just in terms of tracking budget, but net worth, bill pay, all of that. Poor money habit number 2, lifestyle creep. The fact of the matter is, as your income starts leveling up through your career, it's very easy to start leveling up your lifestyle. And listen, we've all been there. I was there when I first graduated college and I got my very first corporate job. I felt on top of the world. Finally, I was no longer a broke college kid on an hourly wage. I was making real money. And by making real money, it was time to spend real money. I was spending real money going out to the bars, going out to eat, traveling, and kind of the list goes on. However, the issue is a couple months after starting my new job where I'm supposed to be getting my new paycheck, it didn't actually look like my savings balance grew by much. Why? Because everything else, all of my costs, had kept up with my income. And on the surface, you might think, and I also thought, it's harmless. Let's go out to eat here. Let's go for a drink there. Let's go buy some new shoes. Oh, maybe I need a new suit. But really, did I want those things, or did I think I want those things because other people were getting those things? And the dangerous thing about lifestyle creep is that when you're early in your career, sure, it's $10 here, $20 there. But as you progress through your career, you go from an individual contributor to a manager, a director, vice president, the stuff you spend on is gonna get more expensive. All your colleagues are summering in Europe with their kids? Sure, I guess now I have to do that. All your colleagues are buying a bigger house? Well, if I wanna keep up, I should probably buy a bigger house. People are getting new cars every 2 years, and the amount of money that you're spending and losing out on quickly goes from just a couple bucks here to thousands, to tens of thousands, to maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So here's what I would do to fix it. 1, set your financial goals. What do you want your financial life to look like? Whether you are saving for early retirement, whether you are saving for a home, whether you're saving for your kids' college tuition, set those goals before you come into any large sum of money, whether it's by getting a new job, getting a promotion, changing jobs, because you don't want to arrive at a point where suddenly you have all this money, you don't really have a good place to start aiming it, and so naturally, you're going to start doing what everyone else does with it, spend it. The second tip I have to avoid lifestyle inflation, automate your finances. Have a certain percentage that is already going towards a savings account, a retirement account, an investing account. That way, you're not just seeing the money sitting there because again, it's tempting. Once it's there, it's a big balance. Maybe I spend a little bit. No, that's a bad habit. So automate as much as you can. In my third tip, this one's probably the hardest, practice delayed gratification. Listen, do you really need that 5,000 square foot mansion? Likely no. Do you really, really want it? Sure, just as you get that promotion to becoming a director, maybe you can wait until you're a vice president. Poor money habit number 3, ignoring investments. I am shocked that 48% of Americans do not have any investment assets. That is such a huge mistake because in our generation, if you truly want to get ahead, the money has to be invested. It can't be saved. What you need to know is that any money that you have simply sitting in a checking account is literally the same as just lighting money on fire. Why? Inflation. According to the Federal Reserve, the average pace of inflation is about 2 to 3% a year. I know these past couple years have been kind of crazy, but again, historically it's 2 to 3%. What that means is prices for goods and services increase every single year 2 to 3% on average. And if your money, let's say you had a $1 bill and you just held it for 365 days, if that didn't turn into $1.02 just by you holding it at the end of the year, your money has lost value because its purchasing power has decreased by 2 to 3%. And so the most important thing for those who are saving for the future is making sure your savings are also going into investments that are keeping up with inflation, but really exceeding inflation so that you are actually getting a return on your investments. Let's look at this example comparing what savings looks like over 40 years and investing looks like over 40 years. Let's say you got a well-paying job and you managed to save $100 a month over 40 years. You diligently put away $100 because you're a great saver. Well, at the end of 40 years, you would have $48,000. Not bad at all. Now let's take a look at an example of if you took $100 a month and you invested it into an index fund, which is, think of it kind of as a basket of stocks that track the S&P 500 over 40 years. Well, that same savings plus investing would net you over $500,000. So let me ask you, would you rather have $48,000 or $500,000? And all you need to do was put in the same amount of money, $100 a month. So here's my tip for investing. The first one, and this is the most important one, investing is dumb simple. I've been in your shoes before, trust me. In my 20s, I was looking at day trading, Forex trading, penny stocks, IPOs. Take all of that, throw it in the trash. It's literal garbage. For you and I to succeed in the investing world, all we need to do, and it's so dumb, I swear it's so simple, is buy index funds that track either the S&P 500 or the entire stock market. We invest consistently and we sit on our hands and we get rich. Everything else in the financial world on CNBC, on CNN Money, it's all noise that's trying to take money from you by way of fees, okay? So do not be intimidated. You don't need to go and read financial reports. You don't have to go listen to earnings calls. All of that is not for you and I. For 99% of Americans, all you need to do is purchase index funds, sit on your hands, let time do the rest, because the US stock market historically goes up into the right. My third piece of advice for investing: don't ignore your retirement accounts. These suckers are tax advantaged, which means it either lets you save taxes today or save taxes when you retire. In addition, if you work for an employer that offers some sort of match for your retirement, say a 401k match, take that money. It's literally a 100% return on your money. Take that any given day, all right? And ignore all the noise. Now, be sure though, when you do pick your retirement account, that you're not only just putting money in, the money in there is also invested. Poor money habit number 4, unknowingly relying on credit. I know, very, very ironic coming from the guy who's always preaching about using credit cards. But I'd be doing my audience a disservice if I didn't address the fact with nearly 48% of Americans in some sort of credit card debt. And growing up, personally, I can see how this impacts families, specifically my own family. Growing up, my dad came to the US as a graduate student, didn't know much about credit cards, and got himself into credit card debt. How that eventually played out is whenever we would go for some sort of home loan or auto loan, it would always be my mom's credit. And they would just simply say, your mother has good credit. I didn't really understand at the time it meant, oh, mom has good credit, but dad has bad credit. I just assumed, oh, mom has just better credit of the two. And so it was always kind of a struggle of who's gonna be applying for the loan? Do we have the credit profile required for it? Overall, I still believe in my heart of hearts, credit cards are an amazing tool if used correctly. They can get you complete outsized value, whether it's in the way of cashback savings or saving on your next big trip. But that's only if you know to use it wisely. Because too often, as the data would show, people are relying on credit cards in a way that is completely detrimental to their financial future. You might think that taking a $1,000 credit card balance, making the minimum payment is not a big deal. Because after all, you're eventually gonna pay it off, right? Well, that $1,000 credit balance could be hit with an interest rate of over 20%. So here are some tips how I would address this money habit. Number 1, if the money is not in a checking account, if you cannot pay for this item with cash, you can't buy it. Sorry, that's it. There is no and, ifs, or buts about it. No cash, no credit card. That's it. The second way I would address it is if you're already currently in credit card debt, start making more than just the minimum payment. It might seem tantalizing to just only pay $25 a month, even though you have $1,000 on a credit card bill, but that is just absolutely the biggest financial anchor holding you back. So start putting in more than the minimum payment to try to get that sucker paid off as quickly as possible. And my third piece of advice is if you're using a credit card, every single month, that entire balance must be paid off. If you can't do it, then you can't use a credit card. You have to go with a debit card. You have to go with cash. Trust me, credit card debt is probably the most manageable debt because it's completely voluntary. It's not like you went to the bank, got a loan for a house, and suddenly you lost your job, you can't afford it. No, credit card debt is you had a credit card, you went to go buy a bunch of stuff, and now you have to pay off the balance. But instead of paying off the balance in one go, you're kind of taking your time. But by taking time, you are crushing your financial future. Poor money habit number 5, staying in your job. I'll say it, most people are at a job that they probably shouldn't be at. Whether it's that the job is not serving you financially, aka you're not getting paid, or it's not serving you in your professional development. However, you're there because it feels comfortable and because it feels safe and because you feel like your coworkers are your friends. Newsflash. They're not, and you're not getting paid enough to be there. Forbes actually did a study looking at employees who switch jobs every 2 to 3 years. Those people made 50% more money over their working career than folks who just stayed at the same exact job. But all you need to know is you should absolutely be always looking for the next opportunity and jump to make more money, because your company is not really looking out for your financial future. They're looking out for their financial future. And when we think about a company's financial future and financial status, salaries, big expense. All right, as a company, if you want to be successful, keep expenses low, keep revenue high. And so are they really going to want to pay you either fairly or even overcompensate you? No, that's bad for them, that's bad for their shareholders, that's bad for Wall Street, that's bad for everyone. And so when they kind of have you in and you're grinding and grinding away, they're gonna try to pay you the least amount of money possible to stay. Now, when you go and switch and go to a new company, well, they're trying to pay market rate, they're trying to attract new talent. Because of that, you're most likely gonna be paid fairly and way more than if you had just stayed at your current job. Let me give you an example. My corporate work history. I graduate school, I start working my first job, I was making $78,000 a year. Fast forward 5 years later, I was making $250,000, all by way of making strategic career jumps. I started in sales, B2C, I jumped to B2B for a small company, and then I jumped to one of the largest software companies as an enterprise account executive at SAP. And don't let people tell you otherwise that, oh, you wanna stick around to build a career. No, that playbook, I fully believe, is absolutely out the door. Companies are no longer this safe haven where you go in, you work hard, you climb a corporate ladder, they give you a pension, you retire happy. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It is absolutely cutthroat. You should always have one foot out the door and scanning to see what the opportunities there are for you to guarantee your financial future and financial success, because your company, trust me, is not worried about that whatsoever. So here are some tips if you feel stuck in your current job and you want to make a switch. 1, market research to assess, are you paid fairly, and if you are underpaid, by how much? Whether it's going on Glassdoor, whether it's talking to colleagues, whether it's talking to friends who are in similar industries but obviously not at your company. Get a holistic picture of where you are on the scale of payment. And once you have that, it is perfectly valid to have that conversation with your manager when you come up for performance reviews. And on the topic of performance reviews, do not hesitate to negotiate your annual raise. Listen, companies like to give us our 2 to 3% raises every year. Remember earlier we said inflation is 2 to 3%, which means life just gets 2 or 3% more expensive every year. And if we just get paid 2 or 3% more every year, are we really getting a raise, or are they actually just paying us what we should already be making? The craziest part was, remember during COVID, inflation was 4, 5, 6%, yet companies were still giving promotions of 2 to 3%. They were literally giving you a pay cut. Life got 5 or 6% more expensive, you got 2 or 3% more money, you're getting paid less money to do the same job every year. And so when it comes time, year-end reviews, negotiate. Another tip for you, network. Network with everyone. You have no idea where your current colleagues, your current bosses, your current direct reports might eventually end up. Build good rapport with people, because one day you're gonna wanna tap into those networks, so build really good rapport with folks. And my biggest tip of all, and this is one that served me well, is the mentality that your company owes you nothing. At the end of the day, I hate to say it, I was a corporate drone, you're probably a corporate drone. We're a cog in this giant machine. And you might feel like, because I felt like, oh, my job is so important. How could anyone function without me? I'm not important, and you're not important. They'll hire someone in there to fill your shoes, and they'll probably pay them less than what you were making. And so with that mentality, it makes it so much more easier to just hop from job to job to job. Because at the end of the day, you're looking out for you and yours, and no one else. And that's the video, folks. These are the 5 money habits that are keeping you poor. And I'm hopeful that I've shed light on some of these and that you can start making a change today. I'd love to hear in the comment section down below, did you know about a lot of these money habits? Are you guilty, because I certainly was, of having some of these habits, and how have you overcome them? I'd love to gather all y'all feedback. As always, this has been a phenomenal video. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.